Alright y'all, I'm back with another video. In this one I wanted to bring you a recipe that you can make for breakfast to get all of your veggies in first thing in the morning, so you don't have to worry about trying to get them in at the end of the day. Of course, you can eat as many veggies as you want to, and the more you can eat the better, but if you can get a good amount in early in the morning or first thing, then you're on the right track. So I just have my little Redmond Home pan here. You guys, these will be linked below. This pan is great for making eggs and things that you really don't want to stick. So I added in some red onion, and I'm also going to add in some tomato, and I'm just going to build from here and keep adding all the veggies that I have in my fridge. On top of that, I'm adding some salt just to kind of season it up a little bit and bring out the moisture. And then I'm also adding in some steamed broccoli that I just chopped really finely. And literally you can add anything you want. You can do spinach in here, you could do some mushrooms. Next, I'm adding some bacon bits. You guys have seen these many times before on my channel. These are so convenient because don't nobody got time to be cooking bacon every day. Watch out for that little freshness thing that's in there. I just poured maybe about 3 tablespoons of the bacon bits in there, and I'm just going to go ahead and mix it all up really well. And then the next ingredient is going to be some arugula. Now, arugula is kind of similar to spinach in that it kind of reacts the same way when you cook it, and it also has a lot of nutrients and vitamins just like spinach does, and I prefer the flavor of it and the texture to spinach. So that's a really good substitute for spinach if you're not the biggest fan of it. It cooks down the exact same way, but the flavor is different. It has more of like a peppery flavor to it. So just something to think about. If you have never tried it before, I would definitely recommend it. Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm cooking this on like a number 2, so really low heat to soften the veggies and kind of steam them as they're cooking, and that's why you see me keep putting the top on. The next thing I'm going to do is, now that the arugula is kind of cooked down a little bit, I'm going to add in my beaten eggs. I'm doing 2 eggs, and I just beat them with some salt and pepper until they were nice and fluffy and had a lot of air incorporated into them. After I get my eggs into the pan, I'm gonna go back on with my lid to kind of trap in that steam and kind of steam them as they're cooking. And I think I also dropped it down to low at this point because I really didn't want them to cook too fast. Once they were mostly cooked, I went ahead and flipped them over. That's optional, you don't have to do that. You can definitely just eat it like this. But I wanted to flip mine over just so I can make sure they were completely cooked on both sides. I don't like any runniness in my eggs, it's not my jam. But if you don't mind it, or you could either put the top back on and let it cook for a little bit longer so you can make sure that it's cooked all the way through, or you can flip it. So those are your options. I tried to do it that way, but it wasn't working, so I decided to flip it manually, and somehow I ended up out of the frame. Sorry about that, but boom, flip the egg, and there it goes. So I'm just pressing everything back down into the pan, and now I'm going to add a layer of Kobe Jack cheese. Any cheese is fine. Parmesan would work really well here as well, and it's also a low moisture aged cheese, so if you have a problem with lactose intolerance, Parmesan would be your go-to, because you definitely want to not, irritate yourself with the dairy products. It shouldn't hurt you as much as normal cheeses because it's aged. So yeah, pop the lid back on one final time to melt the cheese, and I went ahead and turned the heat off and just let the residual heat melt the cheese. And then once it was completely melted, I went ahead and popped the entire frittata onto a plate and topped it with some arugula just to make it look a little bit more pretty. Normally I do not do that, but for the purpose of the thumbnail and the video, I decided to do it for you guys so it would just look, just be more aesthetically pleasing. And of course, it doesn't hurt to get a little bit more veggies. You could also top it with some avocado. You could do some potato on the side, like some home fries. There is pretty much no limit to what you can put in this frittata, and no limit to what you can serve on the side of it, because everything goes great with eggs. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.